Today I will deliver a lecture on neo-evolutionism. In this unit, we will be discussing about neo-evolutionism. This is a new 20th century perspective on the evolution of society. The unilineal evolutionary schemes fell into disfavor in the 20th century, partly as a result of the constant controversy between evolutionist and diffusionist theories, and partly because of the newly accumulating evidence about the diversity of specific socio-cultural systems. However, evolutionism was not entirely abandoned, and within both Marxist anthropology and US cultural evolutionism and cultural ecology, there is continuing research and theoretical traditions focusing on socio-cultural evolution. In contemporary US evolutionism, there are two main currents of thought. They are universal evolutionism of V. Gordon Childe and Leslie White, and multilinear evolutionism of Julian Stewart. After careful study of the 19th century evolutionist literature, White concluded that evolutionism was not wrong in theory, and that cultural evolution was just as real and demonstrable as biological evolution. White developed what he called the basic law of cultural evolution, that is, culture evolves as the amount of energy harnessed per capita per year is increased. White treated societies as entities that evolved in relation to the amount of energy captured and used by each member of society. This energy is directed towards the production of resources for their survival. White assumed that the greater the energy, the more highly evolved the socio-cultural system. White perceived three cultural subsystems: technological, sociological, and ideological. The way society uses its technology to sustain life influences the sociological and ideological systems. Technology and therefore culture evolve as more energy is harnessed. White's hypothesis of cultural evolution explained the differences in technology and energy production. He hypothesized, for example, that small-scale hunting and gathering societies had not developed complex socio-cultural systems because they depended primarily on human energy for production. Their societies were simple, meager, and undeveloped due to limited energy source for producing resources. However, socio-cultural systems changed dramatically following the agricultural revolution and the capture of energy through the domestication of plants and animals. The technological changes as a result of the agricultural revolution led to the emergence of cities, complex states, powerful political and religious elites, and new ideologies. According to White, the changes in the agricultural societies had been gradual, taking several thousand years till the Industrial Revolution. But the Industrial Revolution has taken less than 500 years to produce widespread global transformations. White focused on socio-cultural change on the global level rather than on particular societies. So, his approach has been called general evolution. V. Gordon Childe was a trained archaeologist, and he described evolution of culture in terms of three major events: invention of food production, urbanization, and industrialization. He presented an overall view of evolutionary process by analyzing the transitions that took place under the impact of these major events and delineated its common factors. Stewart called him as universal evolutionist, as he placed general stages of evolution applicable to mankind as a whole and not of specific or particular cultures. According to Child, the multiplicity of cultures revealed by ethnographic and archaeological research is a handicap if the objective is to establish general stages in the evolution of cultures. Therefore, in order to discover general laws descriptive of the evolution of all societies, one must omit the features peculiar to particular habitats or environments. Child's order of evolution differed from those of 19th century evolutionists. According to him, a drastic change in the life pattern of mankind appeared in the stage of civilization in which an aggressive attitude towards environment developed among mankind. Forest dwellers or cave dwellers became house dwellers. Hunters and gatherers became food producers by adopting agriculture. Writing made them capable of preserving their tradition, and mathematics came into being for counting things. The development of cities made them urbanized, and technological advancement of smelting copper, bronze, iron, etc. made them capable of producing durable utensils and implements. Thus, according to him, at each stage of cultural development, mankind developed their technological skill to exploit natural resources. In the early stage, less advanced technological skill had made them less aggressive towards environment, but as knowledge went on increasing, they became more and more aggressive. But Child's work has certain drawbacks. Firstly, he relied too much on archaeological data to explain cultural evolution. Secondly, he did not take any interest in the civilizational sequence outside Middle East and Europe. Thirdly, he did not take into consideration the universal existing institutions of matriarchy, sexual promiscuity, etc. But despite such criticisms, he was successful in presenting universal scheme of cultural evolution in terms of archaeological sequences. Multilinear evolution is a methodology based on assumption that significant regularities or parallels occur in cultural change, and it is concerned with the determination of cultural laws. Multilinear evolutionism is proposed by Julian Stewart. Stewart proposed his theory of multilinear evolution in order to reconcile evolutionary theory with the growing evidence of cultural and social diversity available as a result of the advances of modern ethnography and cross-cultural comparative studies. He still employed an overall scheme of evolutionary progress through the stages of band, chiefdom, and state. Stewart, however, combined this general scheme with the study of specific ecological adaptations and their variability. Stewart focused on how specific socio-cultural systems adapt to environmental conditions. Stewart's cultural ecology framework divides socio-cultural systems into two different spheres: the culture core and secondary features. The culture core consists of those elements most closely related to subsistence, that is, the environment, technology, and economic arrangements. The other characteristics, such as social organization, politics, and religion, constitute secondary features of society. Stewart's approach is referred to as specific evolution, as he investigated the detailed characteristics of different environments. He used this approach to examine the agricultural civilizations of South America, Mesoamerica, the Near East, and the Far East. He found remarkable parallels in the evolution of these different civilizations. They all had irrigation systems, specialized occupations, centralized governments, and formalized state religions. Stewart emphasized that many of these parallels were the result of similar environmental conditions. Thus, multilinear evolution is based on the assumption that significant regularities or parallels occur in cultural change, and it is concerned with the determination of cultural laws. It is inevitably concerned with historical reconstruction, but it does not expect that historical data can be classified into universal stages. It is concerned with local variations and diversified facts that force the frame of reference from particular to general. Therefore, multilinear evolution has no a priori schemes or laws. They simply question whether there are any parallels or similarities between certain cultures. Parallelism is always present in the study of cultures. The methodological approach of multilinear evolution is to establish sequences of parallel development that could be investigated in empirical reality. Stewart was also the man who established the field of cultural ecology. Cultural ecology stresses the interrelationship between the natural conditions in the environment and technology, social organization, and attitudes within a particular socio-cultural system. Stewart focused how specific socio-cultural systems adapt to environmental conditions. Stewart's work also had certain drawbacks. His multilinear evolutionism was not accepted by many anthropologists. However, his theory was widely accepted by his followers. The 20th century evolutionists differed from the classical evolutionists in several ways. They did not assume a unilinear direction of society through formalized stages such as savagery, barbarism, and civilization. They were not ethnocentrically biased or racist when it came to understanding why different societies are at various levels of development. The new evolutionists held that some aspects of small-scale societies are in fact better than those of complex societies. Cultural ecology has become an extremely sophisticated area of research. It has been influenced by developments in biological ecology and theories derived from mathematics, computer modeling, and related sciences. A number of anthropologists have criticized the neo-evolutionism theory for a variety of reasons. Some critics claim that in emphasizing the role of environment, cultural ecologists do not take into account historical or political factors. Again, cultural ecologists tend to view every cultural element as the best of all possible solutions to the problems of subsistence and energy requirements due to the emphasis on adaptation. In the early 60s, Marshall Chalins, Elman Service, and some other colleagues or followers of Stewart and White tried to reconcile the two viewpoints. Chalins and Service pointed out carefully that in cultural evolution, change is additive, not substitutive, and can be transmitted by diffusion, a much faster means of dissemination than genetic transmission. In the 1960s, the cultural materialist approach to theory became widely used. Conflicts over the issues of evolutionism are really beside the point of the materialist approach, which tries to see why things happen and what causes them, not to describe their developmental manifestation.